After the accident,
I was stuck paying all these medical bills.
The Witherspoon Law Group understands that you didn't deserve what happened to you, but you do deserve justice.
They weren't just there for me, they fought for me.
I care about what my clients are going through. We are in the fight of their lives.
We don't just fight for you, we fight with you and make sure you get the compensation you deserve.
And that's why we do what we do. And what we do is win.
Call 844-WE-WIN-44.
Welcome to Winning Wednesday. We are in for a treat this week. I have joining me again the Mind Guy STL Coach Derek, and he has also brought a colleague along with him. So we are in for a treat today. So without further ado, Mind Guy STL, thanks for joining us today.
Thank you. I appreciate it. Good to be back. Looking forward to what's going to be happening in 2020. I know I was here last December, early
It's
December.
2022,
so.
Coach.
2022, yeah.
Stay in the game,
2022.
2022,
right. So
yeah.
I know I was here in December, right? And so now this is an opportunity to basically embark on what's in front of us for 2022. Iris,
yes,
gotta get the years back. I'm trying to take us back.
Get your years right.
Yeah. So great show. I think we got some fruit ahead of everybody who's watching, and definitely can tune in to Kia. That's going to be our guest. She's got all kind of platforms that she's on, so she can be easily reached. So I'm looking forward to it, Iris.
Yeah, so right now, if you all have not liked Media Room 360 on Facebook or YouTube, take time and subscribe to us on YouTube. If you have not followed the Mind Guy STL, take some time now and follow the Mind Guy STL. And without further ado, allow me to introduce Miss Kia S. McClain, the host of the Healing Poetic Podcast, which is featured on 10 different platforms, including Apple, Spotify, Anchor, to name a few. The podcast was derived from her 3-part poetic series entitled The Healing Poetic Expression Series, available on Amazon and her website, kiascoaching.com. So we'll put up all her platforms later. She also takes topics from her published poems and shares her personal story related to the poem in 25 minutes or less on her platform. So how exciting does that sound? I'm just excited. And there's more. She has a poem entitled Forgiveness. We'll further be in detailed about this in the podcast, but she shares personal stories on her podcast about titles such as forgiveness and grief. At the end of the podcast, she reads the poem related to the discussion. Kia's a storyteller, weaves her personal stories into poetry and talks about her personal lessons. Her ultimate goal is to create dialogue centered around healing, sharing her personal stories in a transparent and vulnerable way. And we all know that is not easy, right? It is expected that others will seek out the therapy needed to gain their own healing, or gain the insight and wisdom needed to become more self-aware and maintain healthier relationships with others and self. Welcome, Miss Kia McClain to Iris in the City from St. Louis, but in Dallas, Texas.
Yes, ma'am. Yes, ma'am. Thank you for having me. Good to see you, Iris. Good to see you, Mind Guy.
Hey, what's happening? She can give you some fruit. She gave us a fruit basket. Oh my goodness. Oh wow.
I am excited to be here.
Yeah. Well, this is nice.
We are excited to learn more about your podcast, and I think I call him Coach Derek. The Mind Guy, yes, when he starts really just getting into me or turning into me for certain things, then I can say the Mind Guy. That's like he's being the
alter ego.
Yeah, so I call him Coach Derek. But I really appreciate you for sharing this gem with me and with Iris in the City viewers. We strive to introduce our audience to people and tools to help them achieve a healthier lifestyle by the way of finance, mental health, and physical health. So you fit all of that, girlfriend. So let's just dive right in. What inspired your podcast?
Well, the podcast was inspired because as a poet, I was doing open mics. I was going and doing events, and people would be like, but I need to hear your voice. When I read it, it doesn't sound like that.
Mm-hmm.
I don't get that when I'm sitting at home reading it. And so I played around with the idea of an audiobook for a minute, but then I thought, let me give them something a little bit deeper. Let me talk about where that poem derived from, what part of my journey that piece came from. And so I decided, give them a little bit more, as the mind guy says, fruit. So I gave them a little bit more fruit.
There you go.
By providing them with the podcast. And so by talking about those various topics and sharing my personal journey and then going into the poem, people really started to love that and be engaged with that.
Nice. That's tough, Kia. I really like what you do. I've had the experience of benefiting from some of your services. You've taught me techniques on writing. You've taught me techniques on podcasting. As you know, my organic nature is not to do this kind of stuff, but you kind of talked me off the ledge and got me in front of this kind of stuff. So I appreciate you. Thank you for coming on. I just want to touch slightly on who your target audience is before we have Iris get into the other questions. Who's your target audience based on all the platforms that you're on?
So basically, my audience has really kind of evolved and changed over time. Initially, when I started, my target audience was about 80 to 85% women, generally in the age bracket of about 28 to about 45. Mm-hmm. But in the last couple of years, I've seen a huge difference in my audience. My audience now is comprised of about 60% women and about 40% men. And I'm also seeing a younger generation of followers. I'm seeing that 18 to 25-year-old become a huge part of my listening audience. And then right after that is about 34, it's about 45. Really interesting. And when I look at my analytics, I got about 80 to 85% United States, and that other percentage is globally. It's all over. So it's really interesting how it's evolved over the years.
Yes, Miss Kia, global, not local. I say it all the time. When I sold my first book and I saw it went in Japan, I was like, oh, I'm global. Yeah. My daughter said, how many units? One. That makes me global.
One unit is better than no units.
Yes.
But that is exciting, and I'm glad to hear that your audience is becoming more diverse, because what that says to me is our men are listening and reaching out and getting healing and getting tools. And that's the mind guy job, to help us bring those men in and give them a voice and a face now that he wants to be seen, a face, right? Yes. To connect with, right? So how often do you record? And it's 25 minutes. So take us through that process. And how hard is it to just flow with just you?
So the process, I usually record once a month. Mm-hmm. The podcast is released every other Tuesday. So I record once a month, and I generally will record 3 to 4 podcasts in one session. Okay. So I am not a person that needs to write verbatim everything I'm going to say, because I'm talking about my own journey, my own experiences. So I know those. So what I'll do is I'll bullet point it out, and I'll say, okay, these are some things that I definitely want to touch on in the podcast. But when I'm recording, it's free flow. I'm talking straight from memory. I'm talking straight from my, recollection of that. And so I'm not the person that really needs to track every single word that I'm going to recite. and I like to talk. So it's easy for me to talk for 25 minutes.
Yeah.
Mhm.
Yeah.
That is good. So it's not challenging for you at all.
Not at all.
Not at all. Okay.
Nice. Yeah, Kia, I know that when we say we like to talk, I say we because you and I have had some conversations on a Sunday when you was trying to convince me of some stuff and get me to see things a different way. And we look up at the phone, it's 3-4 hours later. You walk
It
walk
takes
3 or
that
4
long.
miles or something like that. And I'm like, wait a minute, what you mean you walked 3 miles? I'm like, yeah, I walked 3 miles since we've been on the phone. I said, okay. Yeah. So sometimes, just like you said, it does come from recollection. It does just come from those memories and those experiences that you have in this journey. So that's what's up. That's what's really, I think, fruitful and beneficial for people that are really trying to look for tools to get through whatever they're going through in life. So I think that's nice. That's super nice. So hey, let's go talk about a little bit about what people are saying. So what feedback do you generally get once you podcast?
So the feedback that I get is really humbling. I've had people tell me things from I saved their lives to
Wow.
I had nothing but tears coming from their eyes to they went back and they went to that person that they needed to forgive and had a conversation with them, or they forgave them without that conversation. It's really been a moving experience for me. The things that people come back and say, I didn't realize initially the impact of me sharing my journey would have on other people.
Wow. People came to you and said you saved their lives.
I had a young lady just recently on Instagram send me a message, and she lives in a whole nother city, another state. And she said, I just want to let you know that you saved my life. I was on the verge of depression and suicide. And she named the specific podcast. She named that title. And she said, after listening to that podcast, my whole perception of life changed.
Wow.
That is deep. So let's just take a moment and make sure we all know where to follow and find Miss Kia S. McClain. And I will start with her Gmail we'll have it on the screen for you in 2 and 2. Okay. So we have Kia. Is it scoaching@gmail.com?
Mm-hmm.
And then website is www.kiascoaching.com. Instagram is Kia McClain the Poet, and Facebook Kia McClain. So make sure that you are following all platforms so that you can get in touch with Miss Kia and stay in the know.
Right.
And go back and listen to those platforms or listen to those podcasts and share them. You never know, you may be helping save someone else's life.
Yeah.
By sharing, Miss Kia.
Wow. And when you said that really resonated with me when you said people are reaching out to you like that, and people are saying that you help save their lives and stuff like that, because as they say, words are powerful. And so when we start getting on these platforms, we have to be cognizant of what we're saying and putting out there in the airways and putting out there as fruit, right? Because somebody may just be hanging on every word that you say, or Iris says, or what I say. You know what I'm saying? We don't know that. We can't see people sometimes when we do these things in the audio environment. Sometimes in a audio video environment, sometimes you get some feedback immediately, but oftentimes than not, most people go back and look at the replay. And so looking at that and hearing that, that's just, man, that's awesome. But it also tells us how great the responsibility of what we say is.
Yes.
Definitely.
And so listening to all the things that Iris said in the intro and what you've said to this point, Kia, with all the stuff that you do and all the great things that you're doing on all the platforms that you're doing it on, and the things that you're doing to inspire people, tell us a little bit about who's inspiring you.
Well, I can tell you here in Dallas, I met a young lady named Tamara.
Okay.
And I met Tamara through, one of my pastimes is smoking cigars. And I met her in a cigar lounge. And she has great energy. And she was very fashionable. And so, we got to talking and everything. And I found out that she does a lot of content creation for a lot of small boutique owners around the Dallas area. And so Tamara has been vital in helping me to expand my brand by introducing me to these small boutique owners so that when I have photo shoots and when I have events, I'm finding the right type of outfits and accessories to go with those events and just to be fashionable. And so
Nice.
I really have looked at Tamara, almost like a big sister. But she's been great business partner. She's been great in the cigar community. She's just an amazing person, and she's doing great things.
Nice.
The cigar
Nice.
community is big here in Dallas. So let's just take a look at Miss Tamara and hear from her, see what she has to say, and see who's inspired you. But get ready, because when we come back, before we ask a few more questions, I want you to give us a few words on forgiveness. I want you to give us a little how that flows when we talk about forgiveness. Okay, so let's take a look at Miss Tamara and see what all she's involved in.
Hello, my name is Tamara Batzel, and my brand is called TB Style Works. I am a social media content creator. I create content in particular for fashion and beauty brands and small businesses. So if you're a small business owner and you need social media, let's collaborate. I've done numerous collaborations with other businesses. I have referrals. I have a portfolio that you can look at. And I love working with small business owners, in particular, the woman over 40 or the woman female owner or the woman female boutique owner. If you have a beauty brand or a product, maybe you're a little shy in front of the camera and you don't want to do those IG reels. You don't want to do Instagram. You don't want to do TikToks. And you're a little shy and you need a face for your products and services. I can help you with that. It's just a matter of discovery call. I get to know you, I get to know your brand, I get to know your mission, and I get to know your audience, because that's the most important thing. I want to create scroll-stopping content for your product, your services, and your business. I have a vast amount of experience with video and fashion and beauty. I'm all about creating content that will make a difference and take your business to the next level. It's so important that you get into the social media game, in particular creating videos, because consumers are visual. They want to see what they're getting. They want to see how you can make a difference in their life. And I can help you get there by creating that social media for you. Again, it's just a matter of a discovery call. We'll talk, we'll chat. You'll tell me what you're needing, what you're wanting, and I'll get to know you and your brand, which is the most important thing, so that we can really resonate on social media, make an impact, and that you can grow your business and your revenue with quality social media content. Again, my name is Tamara, and my brand is TB Style Works. You can find me on all social media platforms. That's Pinterest, that's Instagram, that's Facebook, that's TikTok. DM me at TB Style Works and set up that discovery call so we can get started with creating social media content for your business. I hope to hear from you soon. Bye.
Well, Miss Tamara is not only beautiful, but she said one key thing to me that caught my ear. She said the woman over 40, the business owner, the entrepreneur. And I'm like, hey, Miss Tamara, TB Style Work. Do you?
Yes.
Because it's only you have one you, but we have so many things festering on the inside of us, and it's just, I mean, every project needs its own team, right?
Mm-hmm.
So please reach out to Miss Tamara. Another thing she said was revenue. We don't want to just be on the internet for likes. We want to have
it's not a hobby.
And we want to create revenue.
Got to make that bread.
Yeah.
If you're looking to make that bread, then if you're looking for quality and someone beautiful and professional, then we are all going to reach out to Miss TB Style Works. And thank you, Miss Kia, for sharing that gem. And my guy, you know some folks.
I brought my people with me.
Oh, your people with you. And just for keeping it all secret. I'll tell you on the day. No, I want to know now. He just wanted to know, hush, hush. That's what I call him, the man guy. He don't turn into the coach when I ask a question and I get the brush off like if you like average, you ain't old enough. Okay,
but we sharing in 2022. We sharing.
Thank you. Okay, so Miss Kia, just give the audience just a snippet of how you will communicate an experience on forgiveness or how forgiving helps.
Well, forgiveness is one of the biggest things I think people are challenged with. And what we don't realize is in that unforgiveness, you are creating this really hard rock inside of yourself. Mm-hmm. And all it's going to do is grow. And all it's going to do is hurt your growth. It's going to hurt your transformation. It's going to hurt your elevation. And so what you have to do is you have to learn to release things that you can't take with you. What somebody did to you 10 years ago or what somebody did to you a year ago is not relevant to where you're going in life. But if you allow that to fester, it's going to grow and it's going to become a tumor and it's going to make you sick. And what people don't also realize is things like that can make you physically ill. People get cancer from anger and animosity and vindictiveness. And so if I tell you that you can save your life by forgiving people, would you put the effort and the work towards forgiving people? I'm sure you would.
Okay, don't give them no more. They got to go to that platform. They got to download their podcast on forgiveness. Because it's the transformation. It stops the transformation and the elevation for me. For that reason alone, I forgive and release. But I'm going back to listen to your podcast on forgiveness.
Yes.
Right. Okay. And with that, it's like, man, it's just like you just hit on something that's very pivotal about forgiving people and letting that stuff go. Like you said, it builds up in your system, and it derails you as a human being. It derails your thoughts. It derails your vital organs. Like you said, it's pivotal that we do that. So thanks for sharing that.
Absolutely.
Yeah. And like Iris said, we need to go back and just take a look in your archives and look at some of your previous podcasts, and just take a look at what you've been doing on all these platforms, because if it's anything like what you've been giving us today, man, that's a fruit basket. I'm gonna have to change my slogan, kid. I'm talking like a piece of fruit. You got a basket. That's tough. Right. Yeah. So just looking at that, things like forgiveness, right? Do you plan to make any changes on how your podcast is structured in the future?
I do. I actually plan to bring guests on. I want to talk to other people and I want them to share their experience and their journey. For the last couple of years, I've been sharing just my own personal journey, which, was derived from my 3-part series. But I want other people to come on and talk about those same topics. I want them to share their experiences, because we know I'm not a licensed therapist. I'm not a psychologist or anything like that. I'm just speaking from my experiences and sharing my journey. But I want to bring other people on to share their journey, because some people connect with my story, but some people don't. And what if I bring someone on that you may connect with, and you didn't connect with my story, but you may connect with my guest story?
Yeah.
Right.
Yeah.
And so that's just basically taking it and opening the umbrella a little bit then.
Yeah.
Okay.
So are there any other plans to create other content from your 3-part series that you've created so far?
I do. I actually I have another book that's called Healionaire. And that book is actually, I have 2 co-authors that wrote with me on that particular book. And so I plan to expand and talk about some of the things that I wrote about in Healionaire. And Healionaire, real quickly, just talks about the richness of healing. All across every platform, that's really what you're going to hear me talking about. And I talk about, people talk about becoming a billionaire, becoming wealthy, but I'm talking about becoming wealthy internally, because then if I get the money, but I'm not healed and I don't have the tools to do what's necessary so that I'm a healthy person, having healthy relationships, then that money won't matter to me. So my richness is going to come through the healing.
Yes. Yes. So was it difficult setting up your own podcast?
It wasn't. It was really easy. I did a little bit of research and I determined that Anchor was going to be the best and user-friendly podcast to start from. Mm-hmm. And what I really loved about Anchor was it releases your podcast to all these other platforms. Okay. So I didn't have to do anything else. It released it to Apple and Spotify and all these other platforms. So I was able to use the most user-friendly platform and it went out to all the other platforms.
That's great. That's great. And for those that are not technical to even start an Anchor account, we have information for you on how Media Room 360 can host your platforms and things like that. So that's another avenue for you. Some people are technical. I am not. So I'm like, someone to do it all, please and thank you.
Right.
So yeah.
Yeah. You said that's you right there, huh, my guy?
Right. I need that one-stop shopping.
Just let me log in.
Yeah. So based on that, you gave us a lot today. So how do you just quickly walk us through, how do you determine the topics for your podcast? Because once you got a catalog like you have, it has to be kind of difficult. So just kind of talk us through that a little bit.
So because I record once a month, generally, I typically kind of go through like what I've kind of been feeling lately, or I go off of conversations I've had with people. So if I'm having conversations with people and they're struggling with love, or they're struggling with grief, or they're struggling with forgiveness, then I'll choose to say, okay, I'm going to record on these things and I'm going to put it out there because it's kind of been that conversation's been coming around a lot lately. And so that's generally how I pick, because I want to get the information out there. And I feel like because people are talking about it, they must want me to talk about it.
Yeah. That's typically how it goes sometimes. Sometimes we just want to pick what we want to discuss because we're comfortable with it, but people, we need fruit from all different directions. And so just being able to be flexible like that to give them what they need is awesome.
Yeah. And when COVID first hit the scenes, I remember I did a 30-day continuum podcast. And so what I did was I asked people, what topic would you like for me to talk about on the podcast? And so every day I chose a topic that people put out there, and that's what I talked about. And I wrote a poem each day for 30 days when COVID first hit.
Oh, wow. Nice.
That is
Can we go get that fruit?
You can. It's out there.
Okay, cool.
Well, this has just been a blast talking to both of you today. Remember to follow Miss Kia on IG at Kia McLean the Poet. Of course, the Mind Guy STL, the Mind Guy STL.
Right.
The STL don't come first. The Mind Guy STL.
Right.
So thank you so much. And Kia on her platforms, you can follow her. You can send her an email. Check her out on her website, Instagram, and Facebook. And of course, Media Room 360. TV, subscribe to us on YouTube. I don't really have an official Iris in the City, but you can follow me on Instagram at Iris in the City, and you can find things there about how to get a free case evaluation and everything else that I'm doing in the city. So thank you guys for joining me today. In the words of Miss Kia McLean, don't let your unforgiveness stunt your transformation or your elevation. And in the words of Iris G, your attitude determines your altitude, and we about to get this money.
After the accident,
I was stuck paying all these medical bills.
The Witherspoon Law Group understands that you didn't deserve what happened to you, but you do deserve justice.
They weren't just there for me, they fought for me.
I care about what my clients are going through. We are in the fight of their lives.
We don't just fight for you, we fight with you and make sure you get the compensation you deserve.
And that's why we do what we do. And what we do is win.
Call 844-WE-WIN-44.
What up, y'all? It's Michael Sean, and I know you want to be a podcaster. You want a successful podcast. You want to give your views and opinions, but you just don't know how to do it correctly. That's why you got to hit up ShawneeScott.com. You want to be on radio, and you want to know how to build your radio career. ShawneeScott.com. She's done all of this. I've worked alongside her for years, and I will tell you the information that she can give you is on a value level that I can't even put a price on it. All you have to do is go to ShawneeScott.com. Your future, right now. That's it. Michael Sean. Yeah.